So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the AI Clinic. This is the makeup session because the other night, the demo that we were doing in Claude for Small Business did not work. It was not working the way that I wanted it to. So, tonight we have a free session, and we're actually going to go even deeper into Claude for Small Business than we were going to go into Tuesday night for the AI Clinic. So, I am so glad that you are here. So I am curious, give me a one in the chat if you have no idea what Claude for small business is. Okay, I'm seeing some ones come up. So this is what Claude for small business is. Claude decided it would be a great idea to get together with some of the leading software manufacturers, and we're talking about manufacturers that we all know and love or don't love. We're talking about we're talking about Stripe, we're talking about PayPal, we're talking about Microsoft, we're talking about HubSpot. We're talking, and I'll show you exactly which applications. Claude or Anthropic thought it would be a good idea to partner with these, and if you see me look over, I'm letting people in, to partner with these software applications and create a suite of skills, Claude skills, which are basically prepackaged actions, prepackaged agents, if you will, that exist within Claude. So they partnered with these software programs to create this package of skills that would be applicable to small business. And that's why they chose the first round, at least. That's why they chose these software manufacturers, because this is the software that many, not all, but many small businesses use. Who doesn't have a PayPal account or who didn't have a PayPal account? Who doesn't or didn't use Stripe? HubSpot is not exactly an outlier, but HubSpot was one of the first CRMs that was widely available. And right now, the basic version of it is free. So it's easy for small and medium businesses to use it. It's when you start to add on additional functionality. So they put this package of skills together to assist small businesses in carrying out certain actions. QuickBooks is one of their partners. So with QuickBooks, you can surface your QuickBooks information inside of Claude securely. And with that, you can analyze your month-end close. You can analyze your cash flow, things like that, that small businesses should be doing, but they actually don't always do. Basically, skills that make us better business owners. So that is what Claude for small business is. And if you take a look at these skills, and I will bring you into the skills, if you take a look at these skills, if you were to code these skills yourself, if you were to build these skills yourself, it would take a good amount of time and a good amount of logic. So that is what Claude for small business is. That's why they built these skills. We are expecting them to broaden their horizons in terms of working with more application and software developers. We are also expecting that we're going to get even more skills at a later date. Right now, some of it's in beta. They're trying to test the waters and see where we are and how all of that's working. So, yes, I am recording this. I did record, so my VA won't kill me because there have been a few times I forgot to record. So before we go into that, did you guys also see that Claude dropped for Opus 4.8 today too? Did anybody see that? We have a new version of Claude already. Yep, Claude 4.8 came out today. We're not going to talk about that tonight. We'll talk about that in our next AI clinic, which is this coming Tuesday, which is June 2nd. Yeah, June 2nd. So we're going to talk about the new Claude 4.8. We're going to talk about OpenClaw, and we're also going to talk about Hermes, or if you are French, Hermes, and those lovely agents. The installation portion for tonight is going to be the recording that I created in order to make sure that we had a good working copy of Claude for small business. Make sense? I hope that makes sense. Yeah, that should make sense. All right, so first of all, let me take you into Claude and I'll show you what small business is, where it lives, and then I will play the installation video for you. And then I will show you precisely how to use it in your business. So I am going to share my screen, and we are on screen 3 today. All right, let me know when you can see my screen. You should see it about now. All right,
See
cool
it.
beans. Let me move this out of the way. So Claude for Small Business operates out of Claude Co-Work. It is not Claude in the browser. It is not Claude Code. It operates from Claude Co-Work. And where you will find it is if you come down here to Customize over on the left-hand menu and click on Customize, and you click on Skills, I'm sorry, Connectors, basically. And it's a plugin. Claude for Small Business is a plugin. So we are going to browse connectors. There we go. So it's not a connector, it is a plugin. And if it's not first and foremost, you can always search for it. And I'll open it up. So as I said, it works with these connectors right now: QuickBooks, PayPal, HubSpot, Canva, DocuSign, Slack, Stripe, Square, Microsoft 365, Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Drive. So those are the applications that you can attach inside of Claude for Small Business. Currently, it has 31 skills. And again, we're expecting more connectors and we're also expecting more skills at a later date. And those skills are, I'm not going to read all 31 of them because we're going to walk in and I'll show you what each one of them does. But just know that there are 31 skills spread across 12 connectors that you can use. So if you go into Claude for Small Business, do you have to be on one of the paid tiers? Yes, Lisa, in order to get Claude Co-Work, you have to be on a paid tier. Absolutely. So when you go into it, you can see all of the skills, but you can also go into each skill and you can see precisely what that skill does. So Business Pulse, which is one that I'm going to show you that I ran earlier, and I'm going to show you the report from Business Pulse. Produces a one-page cross-functional business snapshot for SMB owners. Your cash position, we always need to know what our cash position is. Your sales trend from PayPal or Square, your pipeline movement from HubSpot. So it takes all of these connectors and it aggregates information from multiple connectors to create these really useful reports and other actions for small business. And these are things that normally, if we did these manually, it would take us a few hours. Think about it. You're going to pull your cash position out of QuickBooks. You're going to get your sales trends from Square. You're going to get your pipeline movement from HubSpot. You're going to download that, and then you would have to probably throw it into an AI model, give it a very specific prompt to give you what this skill already gives you. So we know what the description is, but beneath that, we have the pulse. We have a description, short description, and then it tells us exactly what it does, what it references, which tools it's looking for. So it pulls all of this information in and it connects simultaneously. If it returns no data, then it just moves on to the next thing. A QuickBooks fallback, we have a Gmail fallback. Then the step 2, we compute the metrics, the AR aging, the pipeline coverage, the revenue trend. Step 3 is to flag risks proactively. So we're looking again at QuickBook invoices past due 30 days. And I'll tell you something, it went into my Stripe and I did not realize it, but it pulled some information from 2024 where people still owe me money. I was flabbergasted. My flabbers were gasted. HubSpot deals with no activity in 7 days. Gmail threads marked urgent, failed or pending PayPal or Square transactions that are greater than $500. Then it composes the output for you. It exports and it shares. And you can actually vary the scope. You can ask for just cash or a financial check. You can ask for just a pipeline only. And then it tells you what not to do. Do not ask permission for pulling data. The way my Claude is set up, it has to ask me for permission before it pulls data. Everything has to have a hands up on it. Do not invent or estimate numbers. That's a good thing to not do. Do not skip data and do not surface connector errors mid-pulse. And then it gives you the reference MD files. Now, here's the other thing, excuse me, that I thought was really cool is that you can copy this skill. You can actually copy the code for this skill, and you can go and manipulate it, update it, make whatever changes you want, and you can create a brand new skill. So they didn't hide the code, they didn't hide the structure, they didn't hide the foundation. They basically gave us everything. So if you wanted to go in and you are of the mind to go through the line by line and make modifications to this, you can really modify this to fit your business to a T. So those are the skills that are contained inside of Claude for Small Business. And as I said, there are 31 of them. So we have Business Pulse, we have the call list, we have a Canva creator. So it does a whole Canva design session. We have the cash flow snapshot, which every business owner in here should be running. We have close month. How do you close your books out at the end of the month? And I don't use QuickBooks, but I use Xero. And I wish I'm got to see if there's an MD file that I can use. Not an MD file, an MCP file, because I would love to connect my Xero and have Claude Small Business assist me with my month-end close. Contract reviews, what about those? What about a CRM cleanup or CRM maintenance? A customer pulse check. There's a Friday brief. There's also a Monday brief. And I set that up so that now every Monday at 7 a.m., it's sending me this it's wonderfully detailed, but short enough for me to digest it while I'm drinking my tea in the morning. So I'm not going to go and enumerate all 31 of these skills because you can take a look at them and see them yourself. So that is what Claude for Small Business is. That's what it does. That's what it connects to. So let's take a look. Okay, we've got this great thing. How do we even install it? How do we get to Claude for Small Business? And here's the little video that I recorded earlier to make sure that we had all of the information that we needed. So I'm going to play this video for you. It's approximately 11 minutes long, and it's the condensed version. The total time it takes to install Claude for Small Business and answer all of the questions, it's about 30 minutes. It can be a little bit longer. I think the first time I did it was like 30 to 45 minutes because it's asking questions about your business. It is very specific. It is very customized to your business. And everyone's installation process or experience may be a little different. It may ask you different questions than it asked me, depending on what type of business you have. So this is my experience in reinstalling Claude for Small Business earlier today. Okay, so first you are going to load Claude Co-Work. This actually works in Co-Work, not in Claude, in the browser. And then you're going to come to Customize and click the plus sign next to Personal Plugins to add the plugin, because Claude for Small Business is a plugin. So we will browse the plugins and search for small business. And there it is. Can you guys hear okay? Yes, no,
you.
let me know.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I can hear.
Hear you.
Yes.
No, could you hear the recording?
Yes, I can hear the recording.
Okay, cool. So with that, we can see what's included in Claude for Small Business, and we'll click on Install. All right, it's installed and it's ready to use. So we're going to Manage and Customize it. Customize the small business plugin for me based on my company. Now, this is not a short process, so it's going to take a little while to think, and it's going to ask some questions. It's running the skill, And as you can see, it's running a lot of different commands and scripts in the background. So notice here it is asking me a couple of questions. Which do these actually run on? We run on Stripe and PayPal. We don't use PayPal all the time, but we do use it. So I'll let it know that. What do we use these for? Signatures, and for the Microsoft stack, we use Microsoft 365. We also use Adobe Sign, and I'll also say DocuSign for now. Plugin is built for a product retail business. How far should I take the rework of your services firm? Let's see, we'll do a full reframe. All right, got it. Your stack. Stripe and PayPal for money. DocuSign and Adobe Sign for signatures. Microsoft 365 plus Copilot plus your Google Workspace Hub, because it already had that information from Claude in the browser. No QuickBooks, HubSpot, or Square, and you want the full reframe. So it says, let me set up the work and grab your voice profile from Drive so client-facing drafts sound like you. Now let me copy the plugin to a writable location and pull your voice profile from Drive in parallel. So it's doing a lot of work. And over here on the right-hand side, where it says progress, you can see what it's doing as it's doing it. So it's setting up a working copy of the plugin. It's done with that. It's capturing the business profile and the voice, telling us that working copy is in place for 31 skill folders, and it has my full voice profile. And it's writing the reference files that everything else will hang on. Oh, all right, it's done with capturing the magnum opus business profile in Dr. Kim voice, and it's moved on to pointing connectors at the real tool stack. All right, it's done pointing to connectors at the real tool stack, and now it's reframing the money skills around the service lines. All right, we're making some progress here. And yep, it takes a while to get everything set up, but once it's set up, it works pretty well. All right, we've moved on to step number 5. All right, we're on to step number 6. We're moving. And on to step number 7. Looks like we're almost done. All right, we are in the home stretch. So now it's telling us what it did and what changed. So let's take a look and go through this briefing. All right, here's what I learned and changed. Your customized plugin is ready to install. Your company is Magnum Opus Consulting, an AI strategy, education, speaking, and governance firm. You're Dr. Kimberly N. West, the AI doctor, Microsoft and AWS partner, serving corporate leaders, L&D, HR, innovation teams, and associations. This is a B2B services business, not a product shop, so the plugin shipped pointed at the wrong world, inventory, top sellers, POS. So that's good that it recognized that we don't have actual products, so we don't need a POS. I pulled your voice profile and bundled a condensed version so client-facing drafts sound like you, not like a LinkedIn generator. Money runs on Stripe and PayPal. No QuickBooks, no HubSpot, no Square. Contracts go through DocuSign and Adobe Sign. You're on Microsoft 365 plus Copilot with Gmail, Drive, and Calendar as the daily hub. You wanted the full reframe. I added 2 reference files. Every skill now reads first a business profile with our service lines and a voice guide. All 31 skills carry a banner pointing to them. Connectors now keep Stripe, PayPal, DocuSign, M365, Gmail, Calendar, Drive, and Canva, and drop QuickBooks, HubSpot, Square, and Slack. The money skills read revenue from Stripe and PayPal and treat your 4 service lines as the products. The CRM skills moved off HubSpot to a Gmail, Calendar, and Drive pipeline. Contract review now centers on MSAs, SOWs, NDAs, and speaker agreements. Briefs deliver by mail or Teams instead of Slack. The onboarding skill is preceded, so set me up confirms your profile instead of interviewing you cold, which is what a lot of you will go through when you first set this up. One note, there's no Adobe Sign connector in the registry, so Adobe Sign agreements get reviewed from their email attachments through Gmail rather through a direct integration. Since you don't have a knowledge tool that exposes your tool stack directly, I confirmed it with you this time. Connecting Stripe and PayPal would let future customizations read your real numbers without asking. Want me to set up a weekly Monday brief on schedule now that it's pointed at your actual stack? And I wanted to pause it there because it did the whole setup. And again, the questions that it's going to ask you will probably be different from the questions that it asked me. It had some of the plugins and some of the connectors already because I have them already done. I've been using them in Claude in the browser. And also I had Claude for Small Business previously installed. So I'll take you to how to make sure everything is connected properly, because before you start using the skills, before you start using this, you want to make sure that all of your applications are connected. So we've gone through the interview. I'm going to save the plugin here. And then it asked me if I want a Monday brief. And I said yes. So watch it walk me through getting this Monday brief that I can access and read with my morning tea on Mondays and know what my week is going to look like. Before we actually let that happen, we want to save the plugin. You want to save all of this information. Save all the information. All right, the plugin changes have been applied. So, a couple of things here. We're going to say yes. Set up a weekly Monday brief on a schedule. And it's going to think. It's creating the scheduled task. Scheduled task Monday brief, weekly Monday morning business brief for Magnum Opus Consulting at 7 a.m. only on Monday. So I'm going to wait till this actually finishes generating. We can see the code up here that it wrote for the scheduled task. Let's take a look at the details if we can. There we go. So the scheduled task is to run the weekly Monday brief for Magnum Opus Consulting, an AI strategy, education, speaking, and governance firm, etc., etc. Money, Stripe and PayPal, cash position, recent payments and deposits, outstanding overdue invoices and client balances, pipeline, Gmail and Google Calendar. The week ahead, Google Calendar. Watch list, unread Gmail flagged for reply and Microsoft Teams messages awaiting a response. Produce a one-page brief with cash and revenue snapshots, pipeline movement, the week ahead, the top 3 things to do this week, and the single most important item needing attention today. Keep it tight and scannable. Save this brief as a dated file to the Outputs folder. Then prepare an email draft of the top 3 things summary addressed to Coach Kimberly West at gmail.com, but do not send it without confirmation. Surface it for review. Any client-facing wording follows Dr. Kim's voice, warm but direct, precise truth plus a path forward. No M dashes, no hype, no corporate filler. Yep, that's us. So now it is done. And now our plugin has been set up. And just for safekeeping, I'm going to click Save Plugin in the upper right-hand corner just one more time. The changes have been applied. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get Claude for small business set up. So now let's take a look at what it can actually do. And that is the end of our video. So I'm going to stop the share for just a moment before I move on. Are there any questions so far about setup?
I'm just blown away. That's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
What do you do if you're doing this for a client to ensure that if things don't work right, what do you do? I'm still not kind of trusting all this.
Yeah, the first thing is that your client is going to have Claude Co-Work. So if you're going to do this for a client, you're not going to do this in your Co-Work account. You're going to do it in your client's Co-Work account.
So they would give you their passcode information so you could
exactly.
Okay.
You're going to load it with all of their information for a couple of reasons. First of all, you don't want the liability at all. You don't want liability. You want to make sure that they have full ownership of it, that they are the ones who are giving all the passwords and doing all of the connections with you. So if you're going to do this and you're going to make a business out of this, for safety's sake and for liability's sake, make sure that you're doing this in your client's Claude account, not yours. Allison, you had a question?
Yes. Can this only be done on the desktop?
No, you're a little bit muffled. I think you asked, can this be done on the desktop?
Yes, only on the desktop?
Only in Claude Co-Work. Correct. Only on the desktop. This is not in Claude in the browser.
Okay.
Yeah, Co-Work does not exist in the browser, and neither does Code exist in the browser. Are we getting access to the replay? Actually, this is going to be our first major video on YouTube. So the answer is yes, you'll be able to access it from our YouTube channel. Tanya, would you do this for the client by a screen share? Yeah, you could do a screen share. You can do it in person. You can do a Zoom. However, you can get on a conference call, a secure conference call with your client. Yes. Lisa wants to know, how much would I charge a client for this? That's a good question. I would probably charge no less than $500 just for the setup. As you saw, and the setup that you just saw was condensed. I basically shrank time because I was sitting here. There was a lot of dead space, and I got rid of all the dead space. I edited out all of the dead space from that video. Currently, Lisa wants to know, can you integrate another CRM? No, remember, these are the specific applications that are currently working with Claude for small business. Remember, this is a package deal. However, you can integrate other CRMs into Claude. Absolutely. And I actually was trying to jerry rig and figure out how I can integrate Rainmaker into Claude for small business. That's a whole nother video though. We'll see if that actually happens. Tanya, so they can add their passwords and see what's happening as it goes at the start. Absolutely. From bare metal, they can see what's happening.
Would you recommend doing that on a separate device from your own, or does it really matter? So if you have laptop, desktop, or whatever, or multiple laptops, would you do that for your maybe even multiple clients? But I don't know if that would be an issue at all.
That's the thing. If you're talking about doing this for clients, then you're installing it in their Claude environment. You're not installing it in yours. So it's going to be a different login altogether.
I
Everything,
get that part.
okay.
I'm just wondering if you would have different logins, but would it really matter if you're working on one computer,
No,
even if
because you
those
have
multiple?
no,
Okay.
because you have different logins. It's like I have 16 Gmail accounts. Each one has a completely separate login.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have that many, but yeah.
I'm actually exaggerating. I only have 8. I have half that amount.
That's
The
too
other
much.
thing that you have to remember is that Claude for Co-Work only works when your laptop or your desktop or your Mac is awake. So as soon as it goes to sleep, whatever actions you were taking will then cease.
Oh,
Ah, yes, we have to remember that. So let's go back. So at the end of the video, this is where we were. Basically, everything's installed. We're still in the customize window, and we are going to look at the personal plugins and we click on small business. Now that creates 2 drop downs. The first one is skills, and again, we're looking at a list of all the skills that are contained in this plugin. The next one are the connectors, and it knows what applications you need to connect because it has just interviewed you and you've told it which of the 12 applications you're using. Okay, it's time to connect those. So you can see I have my Stripe already connected. PayPal I didn't connect yet. DocuSign I didn't connect yet. I have my Canva connected. I have Microsoft 365, Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Drive already connected. And it's very simple. All you have to do is click, I'll do the DocuSign, and I'm not going to go all the way through with it, but you click the install and you literally walk through the wizard. It walks you through. It could not be easier. Grant access to DocuSign over here on another screen. It's opening the DocuSign window. It's going to ask me to log in. Let's see. Yep. So it went to DocuSign. I'm going to move this over so you can at least see it for a second. And it asked me to log in. It's asking me to enter the code from my email. I'm not actually going to do that because I'm not going to attach the DocuSign, but you are literally just walking through the wizard the same way you do with any kind of software installation. So I am going to actually exit out of this. And once you actually have it installed, what you want to do is for each one, you want to come over here into the main window because this is the approval mechanism here on the right-hand side. And you want to be very careful about this. So what we have here is that, okay, are we allowing Claude to fetch Stripe resources? The answer
Responding
to
to what
that
I
is
see. And I mean,
thank you. The answer to that is yes, but I want it to ask me for approval before it actually does it. You can turn on always allow for everything, but when it comes to financial institutions, I prefer not to. So I actually do want it to ask me every time it accesses my Stripe account. I want it to ask me for approval to do these things because I want to know what it's doing when it's doing it. So get Stripe account information, list coupons, retrieve the balance, search Stripe documentation. And when I set up my Stripe, it was set up to read only. It cannot write to my Stripe account. It can only read information from. That is also that's something else that you want to keep in mind. You want to make sure that when it comes to Stripe and PayPal and Square, that it is only retrieving information and it's not pushing information. So here we go. Larry says, so the obvious question, because we're talking about Claude, how quickly will a small business owner using this skills hit their limit and get cut off? Actually, we're going to go into that because as I've been using it, I've been monitoring my Claude usage. So Larry, great question. And yeah, the average person, this is Claude for small business. These skills are resource intensive. In fact, let's see. Oh man, my session just restarted. We'll actually take a look at it. So this is my Claude in the browser account, my session just restarted. Because earlier had already used about 56% of my allotment for that time period, and it just turned over a few minutes ago. What time is it? Yeah, a few minutes ago. So after I run a couple of these skills, we'll come back and take a look at the plan usage limits. And I will be honest, I'm on a max plan because I do a lot of stuff. I teach it, I do a lot of stuff with it, but it sucks up resources quick. So be wary. So once we have all of our connectors properly connected and I'm sorry, Tanya, you've got a question? Tanya, did you have a question? Are you able to unmute?
Yes, there, I thought I
There
unmuted.
you are.
So if you were to run this for yourself and then log into your clients, that would be using their usage, not your own. Yours is only
That is correct.
you. Okay,
Yes.
all right. I
You're
just
using
want to
their
make,
usage.
okay, because that's going to come up. Thank you for asking that question, Larry, because I wouldn't have thought of that if you hadn't asked. Thank you.
Yeah, we were going to go into it because I need to warn you, it will suck up some resources. Okay, so we have all of our connectors properly connected. Let's go in and let's actually use this sucker and see what we can create. So we're going back into Claude. Now we're in Co-Work, and the way that we toggle on, Larry says, I love Claude, but the limits are so rough. Yeah, they can be. So we are going to toggle on the skills. And the way that you do that is simply by hitting the backslash. So when you hit that, you have whatever skills you had previously used or installed. And then we have the small business skills, and we can access Business Pulse, the call list, Canva Creator. And I'm not going to read all 31 of them, but they are here. So the first skill that I ran, of course, was the Business Pulse. And if you hover over the skill, it tells you what it does, so you don't have to keep going back and forth. So the Business Pulse produces a one-page cross-functional business snapshot for SMB owners. It's your cash position, your sales trend, your pipeline movement, this week's commitments, urgent watch list items, and the single most important thing that needs attention today. It proactively tries every available connector. And remember, there were several connectors in this particular skill. Every available connector and gracefully scopes to whatever is connected. So if it's connected, it'll read the information. If it's not, it won't, and it won't appear in the report. So I ran the Business Pulse, and because it's actually live data and I had to redact and take some of it out, I ran the Business Pulse and I copied the results into a Word doc and took out what I needed to take out. So this is the actual text that was returned to me when I ran the Business Pulse. And of course, let me load the connector tool schemas, yada, yada. So overall, you're reading half the board. Okay, Stripe is live, but PayPal isn't. So it's telling me I could not get the information from PayPal. And Stripe is your smaller money channel. One speaker agreement is sitting unsigned. So it's telling me that I've got a contract out there, a speaker agreement that's sitting unsigned. And that actually happens to be the test speaker agreement that I created for the Queens of AI Online Summit. So the TLDR, too long, didn't read. Stripe revenue in May was whatever, was X across 5 invoices, down from X in April. But that's the course and membership side only, because it knows we have other sides to the business. The consulting and keynote money runs through PayPal, which isn't connected, so treat every revenue number below as partial. So the ABL paid X twice today for the Digital Mastery Course series. That single client is most of your May Stripe revenue. The Queens of AI Online Summit speaker agreement is waiting on your signature in Adobe Sign. A booking is stalled on you, not them. So it's telling me basically I am the bottleneck. I'm the one that's in the way. So let's look at cash and finance. We have a Stripe balance available now, X amount still settling, and some is still being processed. This is not your full cash position. No accounting tool is connected and PayPal is dark, so this is the Stripe slice only, which is why I cannot wait until they open it up to other accounting platforms. Open invoices. We have X amount across 8 invoices, And every one of them is from 2025. Now, this was like the eye opener because I thought, hey, we got all the invoices from 2025. So, person's name, and of course, I took that out. So we have the name of the people, when the invoice was due, and we are 471 days past due. So clearly, I need to go and have my accountant do a little bit of bill collecting. And it tells you these aren't a collections problem, it's a cleanup problem. Very AI language. Nothing here was going to pay for a year. Nothing here was going to pay a year later. The move is to void or write them off so your AR stops lying to you, not chase the $66. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Revenue and sales, the last 7 days, it tells me how much money I made from in Stripe across 3 invoices versus however much for the past 7 days. Jump is real, but it's one client, and that's absolutely fine. Also, yeah, that's fine. May versus April, X amount versus X amount down, month over month percentage with PayPal missing. I won't call that a decline in business. It might be a decline in what flows through Stripe. Recurring memberships. So we had the recurring memberships billed cleanly this month, the Hub 2025 Legacy, and the AI Powered Entrepreneur. So it's gone in and it's done a pretty good dive into my Stripe account. Unusual transactions, no failed client charges, one expense side note from your inbox, a charge to Munch was declined, and that's because I'm no longer using Munch. And it's a card on file issue, not lost revenue. Then the pipeline, no pipeline data to compute because I don't use any of their tools. There's no CRM connected, no Magnum Opus lead tracker, which is why I said earlier, I'm trying to figure out exactly how I can connect Rainmaker, which is my CRM, Rainmaker, and see if I can get it to surface the information out of that. Because if that happens, then this will be a game changer for a lot of people. If you want a real pipeline lead, I can stand up a simple tracker. We don't need that. So this week, no scheduled commitments on your primary calendar through June 4th. That's good. Either the week is genuinely open or your bookings live on a different calendar. They actually live on a different calendar. Tell me which, and I'll point the pulse at the right one. Watch list. Adobe Sign, Queens of AI Online Summit Speaker Agreement is waiting for your signature. Get Munch, a subscription payment failed, 2-minute card update before it interrupts the tool. It can interrupt the tool. The card expired. I don't use it anymore. Everything else in the last 7 days was newsletters and promotions, no client escalations, complaints, refund requests, or cancellations. So what's the priority? Connect PayPal. Right now, it's the pulse is built on the smallest revenue channel. In the appendix, the window was May 21 through 28, 7 days, and then May versus April for the month over month. Sources pulled, it will tell you Stripe, Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Drive. So it did not go into my Microsoft 365 email because I hadn't connected it yet when I actually ran this. It did not go into PayPal because I did not connect that, and it didn't go into my accounting software or my CRM software. And it tells us that. Thresholds used, and what do you want me to do with this next? So I see a couple of questions. Adrian, how does it determine if a contract is signed? Do you enter that manually or what? A checkpoint? The way that it knows from here is that there's an email when you put a contract into DocuSign or Adobe Sign. If someone doesn't sign it, it keeps sending you emails. At least if the person has it configured that way. So Adobe Sign's been sending me emails since before the Queens of AI Online Summit, and it read those emails in my Gmail. And that's how it knows that there's a contract that's unsigned. LaShawn, you've got a question.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Dr. Kim. I was just curious in general, what if you have more than one business? I know you focus on AI, but I also know you do travel. So I was just thinking, what if you have more than one business? Can you set this up for both? Or
Yeah,
multiple?
I've been testing that out
Okay.
because I have 5 businesses
Yeah.
and they each have their own personality. I'll show you where I've been testing that out. when we go into customize, you see these that we have two different small businesses right here in personal plugins.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yep, these are two different businesses, and I'll tell you it's a little bit tedious and a little bit tricky to try and set up multiple businesses at the same time, but it can be done. You have to force it to install the plugin again, and then you have to force it to interview you again
Oh, interesting. Okay.
for each business. I know it's interesting.
Huh.
So this one, this is a small business. It says Anthropic and Partners right in the parenthesis. But this was actually Dr. Kim, the AI doctor. And this one, from my uploads, this one is Magnum Opus.
Okay.
So my next trick that I'm going to pull, next rabbit I'll pull out of my hat is I'm going to try and get Global Gastronome as a separate small business, and then also my other stuff on here. I'll keep you guys posted on how it goes. I'll probably do an email on it because it's tedious.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was going to be my
Okay.
question. How complicated is it to force it to do that?
Yeah, if forcing it to do that, you basically you uninstall and you reinstall Claude for Small Business. That's what I did in this instance. And then I forced it to, and I don't uninstall them. I'm sorry. I don't delete these. I just do a second installation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Get good with one business first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one crisis at a time. Get really good with one business first, and then you can do the second. And you can also update your skills too. As your business grows, as things change, you may change CRM systems. You may decide that you want to start using QuickBooks. You can update the skills so that it will take on that information. Let's see. Kelly has a question. When working on this with clients, what would you say to help them feel more comfortable giving Claude access to financials with QuickBooks and Stripe, as well as their emails and documents in Google Drive? The same thing that I would tell them about using Claude and integrating Gmail with it. If they are so AI risk averse, then that's not your perfect client. If they understand that there is a handshake, that there is security involved, that they have to walk through a very specific workflow in order to connect these tools, then yeah, then you're going to be better off working with them. If they're AI averse or AI risk, then you might want to think twice about working with them with this particular tool. There's a gazillion others. But yeah, if they're going to give you difficulty on that, then they're going to give you difficulty on more than that. I hope I answered your question, Kelly. I'm sorry, Keely. I apologize. You're welcome. You are welcome.
It
Okay,
sounds like
so
a
we have,
contract clause for sure.
yeah. And quite honestly, we have a clause in all of our contracts. We are not shy about letting people know that we use artificial intelligence. But if you're going to set up a system like this for a client, Claude is AI. You can't get around that at all. So they have to know that that AI is being used. And if they have a problem with AI being used to surface this information, then we need to find a different solution for them. All right. So we have everybody connected. We know how to, and okay, that's the other thing I'll show you. Since I have two Claude for small businesses, and I know that one is for Dr. Kim, the AI doctor, and the other one is for Magnum Opus Consulting. Watch when I scroll down. So I have one set, there we go. I have the outside skills, but I have one set of small business right here. And then I have a second set of small business. The first set goes to Dr. Kim, the AI doctor. The second set goes to Magnum Opus Consulting because the questions that I answered, I had different answers for Dr. Kim up here than I had for Magnum Opus down here. So when I'm ready to create a business pulse for Magnum Opus, I'm down here. When I need to do it for Dr. Kim, I am up here. Now, tell me if that made sense. I want to make sure that actually made sense to you.
It makes
Made
sense.
sense in my brain. Okay, cool.
It makes sense. I'm just curious, is there no way to rename them? Or I guess not.
Oh no, you can rename them. You click on the ellipsis next to them.
I was just curious because I would be someone who would get them confused.
Yeah, I understand. I absolutely understand. Okay, so we are going to come down to the second one and we are going to say, okay, what do I want to create right now? So we did the business pulse. Oh, before I actually call up a skill from small business, the scheduled task that we created in the setup is right here. It's in scheduled tasks. That's the Monday brief. And we can go in and we can take a look at it. And this is exactly what it was. Run the weekly Monday brief for Magnum Opus Consulting, et cetera, et cetera. And every week at 7 a.m. on Monday, this runs. So we don't have to think about doing that again. We can always update it, but we don't have to think about it again. So we're going to keep on with the new task and we're going to call up another skill. And I'm going to call up one of the shorter skills because some of these do take a little while to run. You can go and have lunch and then come back. Let's see. Let's do a content strategy. Oh no, that's the analyze, that's analyze the sales data. And I really do appreciate the fact that when you hover over the skill, it tells you what it is. I'll probably go back to something like the price check, quarterly review, sales brief. SMB router, tax prep. Let's do the Canva. There it is. Canva Creator takes an approved content brief and executes a campaign end to end. So Canva Creator, and I'm not even, you know what? I'm not even going to give it any context. I'm not going to give it a prompt. I'm just going to choose Canva Creator and let the prompt run because it's going to ask questions when it does not know. So we're going to prepare that session. We're going to start it up. It's like Mick Jagger. And again, this is not the fastest working application, but it is effective and it does create some synergies between the different applications. So it's using visualize, it's thinking. You're going to spend half your time waiting for this thing to do what it needs to do sometimes. There we go. Oh, it's not done. Okay, drop in the approved content brief or paste it below. Guess what? I don't have one. We're going to work without a content brief on this one so that you can see what it actually will do. Or you can paste the brief. You can put in themes. You can put in offers. You can put in dates. You can put in what you're visualizing. Which channels should this campaign cover? We're going to cover LinkedIn and email and maybe a little Facebook. How about that? How many design candidates per social post should I generate? We'll do one because this is a class. I want to make sure that, and I don't want to burn through all my credits tonight, although we're at the beginning of the session. Where do the visuals come from? Now, this is where you need to make sure that you have some kind of setup, or you're going to want to have some kind of setup already. Do you have your brand kit already set up in Canva? If not, then I suggest that's one of the things that you do before you start using Claude for Co-Work. It will make creating branded assets in Canva so much easier. So I'm going to tell it, use the brand kit in Canva because I have a couple of them. Or you can tell it, I'll send photos or text forward designs. So you just want brand colors, minimal photos, but just mostly text. What's the campaign window? Let's say campaign window is July 1 through July 25th. I don't know why I blanked out on that for a second. And I'm also going to tell it, I don't have a content brief. So we'll let it continue. It's going to take that into account and it's going to ask some more questions. I've put in an intake form above, fill in what you've got, and I'll build the campaign from there. The one thing I really need is the brief. We don't have a brief, but watch what it does. So we have the campaign details, we have the channels, we have the candidates, we have the brand kit, we have the window, don't have a content brief. Here's the honest stuff. I can't build a campaign without a brief, not because of a rule, yada, yada, yada. Which path do you want? The data-driven brief or the fast one? Basically, it's asking us. I'll tell it I want the fast one. So the fast one, tell me the bones in a few sentences. I'll draft you the brief for your approval. So we are selling a course on how to create. You know what? No. I was going to do something absolutely ridiculous, what was going to be flippant. We're selling a course on how to set up Hermes or Hermes or Hermes for non-technical people. I'm curious, give me a 4 in the chat if you have heard of Hermes. Give me a 5 if you've actually used it. So that's what do we want to sell in July? Okay, the offer or hook behind it. Early bird deadline. Early bird pricing is $79 and regular price is $105. Class is on July 26. Early bird sales and July 10th. What else is it asking? Any hard dates in your July 1 to 25 window, a launch, a webinar, an application? We told it that, so we're telling it's a class. All right, so we've given it some pretty bare information, and we are going to let Claude work with that. Tanya, no, I haven't seen, you know what? I have not actually been in Canva in a couple of months, which is terrible. I'll have to check that out. Is it a book about you? What exactly is that?
It looks at all of the graphics that you've ever created and anything that you ever created in Canva. And then it makes this beautiful about you book. So it's like the brain, because I did go to the Canva, I forget the name of the event, Canva Connect, where they talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they said that one of the biggest components was this about you, because they know how important the prompting is, as well as the brain. And I really love that they took that time to go in. And so when I opened up my new Canva with the new AI update, it said, do you want us to create about you with all of the images you've ever created, everything we know about you? And then it spit out this book about you. I haven't gone through it all, but it was super cool.
Very cool. I'll have to check that out then. So we can see that Claude is working, Claude for Small Business. So task is now a course launch with a hard deadline in the middle, which actually makes the campaign easy to shape. Here's the brief it created from the details, the very scant details we gave it. How to set up Hermes agent for non-technical people. 1 product, 2 phases built around the July 10th early bird cliff. The whole campaign drives 1 action. Enroll before the price moves. Phase 1, July 1 through 10. Early bird at 79. Urgency is the deadline. Lead message. You don't want to be need to be technical to run your own agent. And the people who move now save $26. Phase 2, July 11th to 25. A regular price, $105. Urgency shift to seats and the July 26 class date. Last call energy. Core angle, your voice, because it took this voice from my business documents that it had previously. The non-technical person is not behind, they're just being handed tools with no instructions. This class is the instructions. Your audience, your usual B2B and professional crowd, plus the curious but intimidated who think agent setup is not for them. Now, I did not give it this information, obviously, when we were setting up this particular skill. It read it from the business information that it knows about me that it is storing inside of Claude for Small Business. So it's giving us now a posting calendar, July 1 through 25, the date, the channel, the path, the phase, the theme, or the angle. And it's doing that for the entire campaign. So July 1 through 24. That's 12 Canva designs, 6 LinkedIn, 6 Facebook at 1 candidate each, plus 3 emails written in line. Generation budget is roughly 12 designs, about 60 Canva API calls. Very important, because when we connect to these other outside and these other ancillary applications, we have to be mindful of the cost of that application as well. So Co-Work, Claude for Small Business, I'm sorry, tells us how many credits we're probably going to use before we even use them. Thank you. I'm very happy about that. And that 60 Canva API calls is comfortably within the limits. No conflicts have been flagged. The only thing I'd watch, July 10th has the Facebook last day post, but no LinkedIn equivalent. And July 19th email covers LinkedIn audience anyway, so I left it. Say the word if you want a July 10th LinkedIn post too. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Checkpoint 1. Before I touch Canva, does this match what you want? Are there any dates to shift, a channel to add or drop, themes to swap, or a different balance between the two phases? And I'm good with what we have right now. I'm just going to say I'm good. Approved. And as we're doing this, I'm going to slide my Claude account over, and you can see, okay, we're starting to use some of my limits here in this current session. Resets in 4 hours and 51 minutes. We'll see what happens after we are done running this particular skill inside of Claude for Small Business. So locked. To restate, split out loud before anything gets generated. We've got 12 rows to go through Canva, 6 LinkedIn, 6 Facebook, 3 rows to go through text-only email drafting. Nothing publishes on its own. So it already has my brand inside of my brand colors for this business in Canva. So this is what we had edited today, showing 4 of 25 results. And it's still thinking. I'm not going to go back and look at what we did earlier today, but any questions while we are waiting for this to run? All right, I'll take that as a no. All right, probed Canva before building anything. Your account has no autofill enabled brand templates, which means it's on the Pro Teams tier, not Enterprise, which is fine. In plain terms, I can't have Canva mass fill a data template. I pick a template, clone it, yada, yada. That's slower but more controlled and the right path. So it's going to tell you if you have any kind of account limitations. Template options in your library that fit a course launch. Masterclass template Facebook. Kimberly West template 3. Yeah. Facebook affirmation. No, we don't want that one. I think the masterclass template works well. Noticed a recent batch of governance workshop posts, so it knows what you did previously in your account in this same voice and layout. Looks like this skill ran a campaign before, so we have a proven look to match. Brand kit. I do have several. The one that I want, however, is this one. Asset manifest. Headline, kind, text, source, status. So it's laying out the entire campaign for you. Because you chose text forward designs, I'm planning to fill that one image slot with the brand kit color block of your existing brand photo. Okay, that's fine. 2 quick confirms before we generate. Use masterclass template for all 12. Yes. Yep, that is exactly it. And I will say confirmed. I saw a question. Do you update the prompts to conserve tokens? I did that before, used another AI to update the prompt and it helped. No, actually, because this is pre-canned. So if you do update the prompt, if it's not asking for an update and you do update the prompts, then you run the risk of not actually using Claude for small business. Then you're just using your own prompts. And that defeats the whole purpose of having these skills available to us. You're welcome. All right, it's loading the tools. It's thinking we can keep track of what is happening over here on the right-hand side. It's getting my brand template data set. It wants to use create design from blank. Okay, so yes, we want to allow for this task. Now, if you want these to run all the way through without having to give it permission, then when I showed you the permissions screen where you could choose whether it always had access or had to ask or had no access at all, you can switch those all to always have access and you won't have to do this. I just like knowing what's happening so I can keep track of the tokens. Plus, usually I'm multitasking and doing 3 other things, so I'm not sitting here twiddling my thumbs. And we're gonna keep thinking. Found the snag worth flagging. Masterclass template comes through the API as a photo plus a color block. Okay. So it's going to cancel it and run the post the first way so that we can see the quality before it does all 12. So it's going to give me a sample basically. Right, generating the sample can take up to 1 minute. Okay, build your own AI agent, no coding required. Eh. It's definitely our color scheme. I would want to add our website here. All right, let's take a look at this one. Build your own AI agent, no coding, July 26th at 2 p.m. Enroll now at that website. So for launch post candidates are back from Canva's AI generator. Now I can look at them here as we just did, or I can look at them in Canva. Now look at this one as well. I'll drag these over as soon as they open up. All right, that is the method change in practice. Since your template had no editable text layer, I'm generating branded designs with the copy baked in. Instead, it gets your actual words onto the graphic, which the template route could not do. So let's see. One of these is rendered. So this is one, and this is surfaced inside of Canva. Eh. This is another one. Again, surfaced inside of Canva. And I think this is the first one we saw. All right, so I'm going to give it some instruction. Let's see, 2 things from you. Which candidate is for the July 1 launch post? If the quality holds up, do you want me to roll through the other 11? I need it to put the website on there. All right. And let's say which candidate for the July launch post. And let's say I'm not crazy about any of these, so I'm going to tell it. So the website that should go at the bottom of each image is the AI-powered-entrepreneur.com, and regenerate. I don't like any of these. So you're not stuck with what you have been given. You can always ask it to make updates. So cool to see the Canva connector activated inside Claude. Heard Adobe is also inside this space. Yes, it is. All right, so it's just basically going to replan the story. It's going to search the templates. It already knows what it's working with. And I gave it an update on the website. And you can keep going through this loop until you are satisfied with what it is that is being surfaced to you. Now, these are pretty boring images because I didn't give it a whole lot to go on. But if you have an idea, the same way when you put it into Claude, when you put it into, we don't do a lot of graphics in Claude, let's face it. But when you put it into Claude, when you put it into Chat GPT images, when you put it into Nano Banana or even Manus, give it that same amount of specificity. Give it that image that you have in your head. Don't start with something really vague, and that is what becomes your design brief. So I used it this way with no design brief at all to prove a point. But when you do give it a design brief, when you do give it guardrails and you tell it specifically what you are looking for, I know this is crazy, but I kind of like that. When you tell it what you are looking for, it's going to give you much better results. This is horrible. That's terrible. But it did put the website on the bottom of each one. So, same caution as before. And now I'm just going to tell it, you know what? Just create the LinkedIn images. And I choose number, which one is that? I think that was number 4. Oh, no, number 3. So we're going to choose number 3, and we're telling it just create the LinkedIn images. I choose number 3. Do not, yeah, we'll create the rest of them. Okay. So now it's just going to do the LinkedIn images. It's not going to do the Facebook images that we had originally asked for as well. And we told it that we liked the image number 3. Unlock your potential. Yep. Allow for this task. So I am curious. Are the wheels turning? Your brain wheels turning? Are you thinking about how you can use Claude for small business in your business? Especially once you've connected your financial and your accounting and Canva and your CRM, if you're using HubSpot or something that's compatible, the ecosystem and the reports that this can create for you and the visibility that it gives you into your business, it's hard to beat. So, Olivia, did you have a question?
No,
Okay.
had been on my cell and I finally got to my office. So
Oh,
now I'm on the
gotcha.
computer. Now I'm on the computer.
Okay. So let's see, what is it giving us now? That gave me a real picture, something you need to see before I mass produce anything. The look is strong, yada, yada. Okay. Here's the trade-off. What I do is repurpose the 3 slots. So I'm basically just going through this to finish up this particular exercise. But again, remember, yeah, the business pulse really is great. That was a lot of information. And if I had everything really connected, and also in Stripe, you can have sub accounts in Stripe. And I only connected it to one of the sub accounts. So it was giving us just that particular sub account, not all of the others for revenue. But if I were to connect everything, That would be very interesting to see how deep it could go into the analysis of the business. All right, and all the text is rendered correctly, which is the win. Spelling is intact on the price, the date, and the domain. Corner box is narrow. Okay. So it's going to correct itself. Dude, I said only. Wait. And let's see, how are we doing on credits? I'm going to slide this over. So, plan usage limits. We're clearly we are burning through. We've used 8% on this one run alone. Yeah, so watch your usage limits. Also, if you guys didn't see, to buy usage credits that you can use and turn on if you hit limits, they're doing a 30% off sale right now. I don't know how long that's going to last. And because of how much I use Claude, I usually keep like $100 in the balance just in case I do go over. So it's editing each clone, opening up all 5 to map their text elements. Now, it would be great if they made HeyGen part of the small business, of Claude for small business. That would be very interesting because then you could create videos and UCP footage and all sorts of stuff that would be really specific to your business. I know that we are able to connect Claude and HeyGen because we just did a class on that a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week? But to make it part of this stack would be very interesting.
Do you ever use VO?
Huh?
Do you ever use VO, Gemini VO?
I do sometimes, yeah. When I'm doing clone videos, though, I usually default to HeyGen. I get some pretty cool videos out of VO, though. I have one that I'm going to use for the AI clinic next week. I promise when I upload this to YouTube, I will edit out all the dead air. Almost there. And we're watching the usage. Okay, all 5 render clean, every headline, and the website intact. It's committing them. All 6 LinkedIn images are built, saved, and eyeballed. All right, let's take a look. Want any headline reworked? No. Say the date and the new line. I'm going to leave that alone. Not technical. Nope. And the rest of the campaign had 6 Facebooks and 3 emails. Nope. Build the emails. Let's see if it decides that it wants to do that. So let's see. This is one of the images that it created. Again, very little direction. 2 days left at 79. Here's another image, not technical. Good. Oh, I might have to use that line. Kind of like that. And a third, build your own AI agent. Live class July 26th. So those are the ones that we generated for that class. And I'm just curious. I put in build the emails because I wanted to, since this is a Canva skill, I was curious to see if it actually would build the emails. So I'm going to see what it does. So we're all out. This is all uncharted territory for all of us. Terry says, interesting, some of the skills I set up in Co-Work prior to this SMB release. Guess I have decisions to make. Yeah, Terry, you can use them inside or outside of Claude for Small Business. That's the thing. It has that flexibility. All right, so it actually did create the emails for me. So July 1, the launch, early bird opens. July 9th, early bird last call. July 22nd, final email. And I'm going to tell it, no, we are done. It'll update the task. All right. Done. Here's where everything sits. Six LinkedIn images are saved as drafts in your Canva in posting order from the July 1 launch through the July 23rd final call. Nothing is published, so you control when each goes live. The 3 emails are above, ready to copy into your tool on the 1st, 9th, and the 22nd. Whenever you want the Facebook or a scheduling pass, I'm here. So the working folder, oh, the progress. So we've fulfilled all of our progress. We didn't have anything that we uploaded as a working folder in the working folder. The connectors were Canva, and the skill that we used was Canva Creator. And let's see. I'm opening up Canva right now. So bear with me a moment. Canva's been taking longer and longer to open on the rare occasions that I use it lately. And if I bring my Canva over, you will see that everything that we created is actually in my Canva account. So I can go back and make all sorts of edits and do whatever else it is that I need to do with it. Ta-da! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a high-level demonstration of Claude for small business, how it works, first of all, how to install it, how to configure it, how to manage it, and how to use it from Claude Co-Work or Claude Desktop simply by hitting the toggle, going down to small business, and choosing whichever skill it is that you want to use. How about job post builder? And then letting the prompt run. So I'm going to stop the share. Are there any questions? Becky says, now I only need a brain transplant right now. Sheila says, nice that it's editable in Canva. Absolutely. I think if they had not allowed it to be editable in Canva, there would have been a big problem. Big problem. Jacqueline says, this was a lot for me. Yeah, this is getting into some of the more advanced parts of artificial intelligence. This is more practical use of artificial intelligence over and above just prompting. This is an actual brass tacks business use of artificial intelligence or for Claude for small business. Because a lot of the skills that are there are things that we should be doing as small businesses, and we just don't. For whatever reason, we may not have the technical chops to do it. We may not have the time because it involves having multiple applications talk to each other to produce one result. So, yeah. I'm going to be kicking the tires a little bit more. I'm going to be working with that. And if I can get Rainmaker connected and get Rainmaker into the small business, Claude for small business, you guys will be the first ones to know. Let's see. Adrian says all the
Yep.
workflows nicely packaged. Yes. Terry says this is the good stuff. Jacqueline, I have to go over it again. Sheila, so what do you see as the best way to market this to business owners at what price points? Take a look at the marketing and the information that Claude has put together, that Anthropic has put together for us. And I would mimic or mirror those sentiments. I would not copy them. Plus, and on top of that, I would then add in the language that your audience has been speaking. What are their pain points? What are they having difficulty with when it comes to month-end close? When it comes to having a well-rounded content plan and being able to create artifacts inside of Canva. So you can take what's already been created. You can take the language that your specific audience uses and put those together, and that would be the best way to market to your constituents, basically. At what price points? Again, I probably, for an install, I would not charge less than $497, $500. And then you have to determine, is your client going to use this on their own on a regular basis? Are you going to set up scheduled tasks for them so that they run automatically on a regular basis? You really have to determine what type of services you want to offer inside of Claude for Small Business. And again, go back to what your people are saying. And that's how you determine what pieces of this you're going to offer for sale. Jacqueline, is this an evergreen kind of product? I believe so. I believe that this is an evergreen product. Even if Claude for Small Business is not evergreen, the skills that they've created are not going to go anywhere. Remember, Claude for Small Business is the package, but inside the package, we have these 31 skills. Those aren't going anywhere. Any other questions?
Sorry, this may have been asked before, and I'm sorry I had to step away for a bit.
No
Um,
worries.
because like you said, this isn't like the like prompting, this is more advanced. So I'm gonna have to go back over. Is Did you say that there's gonna be a replay on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm going to edit this and I'm going to put this on our YouTube channel. It's going to be the first in-depth video that we have there.
Oh, what's your YouTube channel?
The AI powered entrepreneur. Give me a second and I'll grab the link for you.
Oh, thank you.
I would be so happy if you guys would subscribe. We have some podcasts and some shorts on there, but this is the first real video that we're going to put on there because we're switching up our marketing schema
I
a little
already
bit.
subscribed to your YouTube.
I know you are.
How do you know?
Because I see who's subscribed to the YouTube channel.
There was one on there I thought was funny. It was
Oh, the
good.
podcast?
Oh, on YouTube. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have our podcasts are on YouTube too.
Okay. So yeah, it was good. It was funny though.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
said,
we
oh,
we,
she does have a sense of humor.
we gotta have some levity with this stuff because come on. Give me just a
Yeah, I
second. I'm
know.
actually trying to get to the channel.
I was creating storybooks for my niece on Gemini Storybook earlier.
Oh, nice. All right, here is our YouTube channel. And there it is. And the podcasts that we have on there are 100% AI created. It's not me talking at all. It's me, and Nova is my sidekick. And Nova is a completely AI generated person. In fact, she's actually my chat GPT. I named her Nova. So if you listen to any of the podcasts, that's who you're listening to is our two AI clones talking to each other. But all of the ideas, all of the concepts are still mine.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. It's getting better though, because I think we're in year 2 right now. We're in season 2. Joanne says the practical skill usage of the tool and its integration of others is a real draw for me. Yeah, that's the thing. Just when I saw that I was able to take my sales information from Stripe and marry it to if I had HubSpot, and get that briefing that we got that I showed you at the top of the class, that did it for me. And I think a lot of business owners, especially small and medium business owners, need this. They just don't know how to put it together until now. So, thank you so much, everyone. Any other questions before I close out? Lolita says, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. I thought I was the only one who named my AI. Oh no, Lolita, almost everybody has named their AI.
Yeah, I named my
I
AI
would,
Sage.
okay, Sage, that's nice. Lolita says, I was on a road trip during this session and cannot wait to do a deep dive into this recording. I look forward to connecting our finance platforms. I wish I could connect my CRM as well. Yeah, they're going to have to add more CRMs because not everybody's on HubSpot. I'm wondering if there's a money play there. Jacqueline, you had a question?
I don't know why I thought you could connect it to high level.
Oh, that's got to be coming. There's too many people on high level for it not.
I have a question. Forgive me if this sounds like if it's a stupid question.
No such thing.
Um, so for what was demonstrated tonight, it's not, say I go to a small business and I said, this is what I can offer. So this is something, this is not like a program that they plug into their computer, it uploads, and then they it integrates into their financial system. This is something that you can add, you can, for Claude for Small Business, you can add the information, run it, and then it can run all the different programs, all the different financial programs together, if I'm understanding this correctly.
You are understanding it to a certain extent. And what I'm hearing is a couple of things. And Jacqueline, do you have a pen and paper or do you have something to take notes with?
Give me 1 second. Actually, let me find, I do have a notepad and pencil. Give me 1 second.
Okay,
Oh,
sure.
there's my pencil right here. Yes, I do have it right here.
Okay. The first thing I want you to do is get very familiar with Claude Co-Work, or what's also called Claude for the desktop. Because I hear a little bit of hesitancy when you're talking about it. So get very familiar with that and the difference between that and Claude in the browser. That's the first thing. And then get comfortable with understanding Claude skills. And once you understand, once you're really good with those two things, then segue into Claude for small business. So to answer your question and back up, no, this is an application that sits on their laptop or their desktop or their Mac. This is not in the browser. It's an actual app. It connects to Claude in the cloud and also to these other applications as plugins. And that's where the connectivity between Claude for small business and the associated applications live.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Keep me posted on your progress though, because I want to hear from you when you really get good with the Claude skills. It's like a light bulb's going to go off over your head and you're going to be like, oh my goodness.
So the only thing I would have to do is, I don't know, go to LinkedIn Learning or Udemy, and then I guess Claude has beginner, entry, and advanced levels, right? Or am I getting that wrong?
They do to a certain extent, but I'm going to suggest you start with YouTube University before you spend any money, unless you already have subscriptions. Start with YouTube University. And there's a couple of good Claude for beginners, Claude Co-Work for beginners classes that are out there, and start there. And you can definitely get what you need from YouTube University.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. LaShawn, you had your hand up.
Sorry, I was on mute again. I went to go into my phone real quick, and I didn't see where you clicked in to force Claude to ask you questions when you first set it up. Like when you went to go click to have it connect.
Yeah. It's when you go into manage, we'll have to find it on the video once it finishes rendering.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there, I was looking, and I was like, where did she go again?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, you can do it on your phone, but you're going to probably be a little bit better off doing it on a larger screen.
Okay, cool.
Let's see, Lori, this was amazing. Lots of info. Oh, thank you. Hey, Lori, I didn't even know you were here. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, Tanya says, so grateful, but I have to definitely learn more. Claude, YouTube. Okay, so let me ask you guys, would you be interested in me doing a Claude 101 and then a Claude 201 class
Yes, please.
so that you can get the foundation?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes,
Donna,
Well,
was
I
that
have,
you?
Absolutely.
por favor.
Okay, I gotcha.
I am not a Copilot fan. One thing I found out that Copilot does very well, write good step-by-step guides. So I had it write me out a guide.
Yeah, you're talking about Microsoft Copilot?
Yeah, I'm not a
Yeah.
fan.
Microsoft Copilot also has co-work inside of it, but we are not going to have that conversation tonight.
So I had it write me out a
777.
guide for Quad small business.
I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a very good guide. It will be functional, but it won't be good, like really good.
That's why I'm going to pick your YouTube video as soon as it's posted
Yeah.
apart.
Okay. Jacqueline, did you have a question?
Yeah. So with this type of program, I assume that there would be you would still keep in contact with the client because there's probably going to need to be maintenance, something that it's running, but I guess they would pay a monthly fee just so that if something goes a little screwy or awry or there's an update, they can reach out and have you fix it. If the initial installation would be like $500, would the month would it be unreasonable to have the monthly subscription about, I don't know, half that?
It would not be unreasonable. And since this is such a new application, I'm researching and keeping my ears open in the industry to see what other people are doing right now, what they're charging for these kinds of services, and other add-ons that you can add as an AI consultant. Did that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I figured that not just the add-ons, but the complexity, the
Mhm.
more complex, the higher the monthly fee and that sort of thing.
True.
I guess something like that. And of course, things change. So they would want someone who keeps on top of the changes. You don't want to get
Mhm.
someone who just installs it and doesn't understand, oh, we have Claude, business for version 29, but they're still on version 5.
It's always going to be updated. It's the updates are going to come automatically. This artificial intelligence, whether we want the updates or not, they come. ChatGPT may be working great on Tuesday. They update it Tuesday night, and then on Wednesday it goes cockeyed. And that has happened to a bunch of people, especially a couple of people on this call. So it's always going to be up to date. The I think the artistry, if you will, comes in knowing how to not only connect the applications, but knowing how to prompt the applications over and above what the skills already are. How to elicit even more information out of it so that it helps that business owner make decisions. It helps that business owner analyze their business better. Cash flow is king. How are we using the cash flow? Where's the money hidden? There are consulting opportunities with Claude for small business that are over and above the skills that are right in front of us. All right. Any other questions before we close out tonight's special session? If not, I am going to say thank you. You know, I am grateful for you all being here. Time is the one thing that we cannot get back, and I am honored that you chose to spend almost 2 hours, yeah, just shy of 2 hours with me. And I will be seeing you guys online. Hopefully, I will see the majority of you, if not all of you, on Tuesday for the regular session of the AI Clinic. Have a great night, everyone.